Good evening, everybody. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Ladies and gentlemen, before we get started, I'd like to ask for a moment of silence for the passing of Borden Denny Steves Jr., a former city council person and West Shore firefighter who passed away earlier today. Please join me. Thank you. Madam Clerk, when you are ready, will you please call the roll?
Councilwoman Melly Garthwaite,
Melly Garthwaite at large, present.
Councilman Peter Rivera,
Peter Rivera at large, present.
Councilman Sean Ronan,
Here.
Councilwoman Ann Heffernan,
Councilwoman Ann Heffernan, 1st District, EC.
Councilwoman Nancy Tagliatella,
Councilwoman Nancy Tagliatella, 2nd District, present.
Councilwoman Sarah Akbarali,
Councilwoman Sarah Akbarali, 3rd District, present.
Councilman Gary Donovan,
Councilman Gary Donovan, 4th District, present.
Councilman Edward McMillan,
Councilman Edward McMillan, 5th District, present.
Councilwoman Dawn Callahan,
Councilwoman Dawn Callahan, 6th District, present.
Councilwoman Catherine Tucker,
Councilwoman Catherine Tucker, 7th District, present.
Councilman David Beaton,
Councilman David Beaton, 9th District, present.
Councilman Ronald Quagliani,
Ron Quagliani, 10th District, present.
and Chairman Christopher Vargo.
Chairman Christopher Vargo, 8th District, present.
We have a quorum, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Time is 6:59, and we have 3 public hearings this evening. First off is the Finance Committee, Chairwoman Akbarali.
Thank you, Chairman. The time is now 7 o'clock, and your public hearing on finance is now in session. Would anyone from the public like to come up and speak about Communication B from the May 26, 2026 agenda? For a second time, would anyone like to come up from the public? For a third and final time, would anyone like to come up from the public to talk about Communication B? All right. Communication C from the May 2026 agenda. Would anyone from the public like to come up and comment about that? For a second time, would anyone from the public like to come up in regards to Communication C? For a third and final time, would anyone from the public like to come up and talk about Communication C? Seeing there are no comments, Chairman, the time is 7:01, and your public hearing on finance is now closed.
Thank you. Next item is public hearing from Public Lands Committee, Chairman Donovan.
Thank you, Chairman. The time is now 7:01, and we have a public hearing on Communication N from May 26, 2026 agenda from Mayor Dorinda Borer requesting consideration and action regarding transferring a portion of the city-owned property of 281 Front Avenue rear to the abutting owner of 295 Front Avenue, Mr. Leo Scalia. Anyone from the public like to speak on this? For a second time? Third time? The time is now 7:01, Chairman, and your public hearing on is closed.
Thank you. Time is still 7:01. We will now enter public session. Will anyone from the public like to address the City Council? Ms. Hebert?
Hi, I'm Kathy Hebert, 166 Bloom Street, West Haven, and I'm here to share with you a couple of things that I've been working on, and many of you heard me over the years, but anyway, this is a trail sign for the West River Watershed Coalition, and I've given you handouts with the West River Watershed Coalition brochure. I'm a member of that organization, and it follows the West River from Bethany, Hamden, Woodbridge, New Haven, West Haven, over on Marginal Drive and Route 1, and empties out into Long Island Sound near Splash Car Wash. And what we've been working on is obviously doing cleanups, planting natives, dealing with a lot of things. We're trying to put together mostly a trail from Southern that people in Southern can go through New Haven, through the closed road of where the Route 34 to Marginal Drive is, biking or walking, no car travel, just biking or walking down Marginal Drive. And this is where the signs come in for West Haven, because the other towns are putting up their own signs. New Haven's done a great job. And Mayor Bohr bought 10 signs, and the West River Watershed Coalition and we put together a route, and we had 9 signs put up, and I gave you a list of where they are. It's the last page, plus a map. And it starts on Marginal Drive, goes up the hill of Route 1 towards UNH. Then we decided to make a left across Route 1 onto Front Avenue, all the way down to Clifton Street, make a right onto Clifton, left onto Front, all the way down, cross Elm Street, across Main Street, across where the boatyard ramp is, and then go down to Sandy Point Beach Street. And then that meets with the East Coast Greenway. And believe it or not, people are actually walking and biking this, just because a lot of people like to bike and walk out there. And we will be planning some public walks, cleanups, and bike rides, because it is kind of ratty around Front Avenue and a little bit of Clifton. And hopefully with time, that will change. The more eyes you have on a road, the more feet, it seems to improve it. And we'll be working on it. But I wanted you all just to pass it around. And we also put a QRS code. I guess I talk loud. A QRS code on the bottom of all the signs, and if you take your phone, it'll bring you to the West River Watershed Coalition website. And of course, any of you can come join us for any of our cleanups, any of our walks, and just see some of the actual things. We've put in a walking trail with the Boy Scouts. We do, and I'll put this with your permission, Mayor Bohr, out on the table. And we have monthly cleanups. We call them work days now, because we actually have noticed, since you put up the cameras, the garbage is cut in half. We still get plenty of garbage, but it's cut in half. So those cameras have really paid for themselves. So that basically was my first thing. Any questions or anything? Okay. My second hat is I'm president of the Sandy Point Neighborhood Association. And one of our neighbors is going to talk about a particular issue on 3rd Avenue Extension and the overgrown lots that the USDA had bought from houses that had been damaged in Hurricane Irene and Sandy. And the idea was to tear down the houses, tear down the houses, and let the property go back to nature so that the water could be absorbed. And also, they were going to put together, to my memory, a native landscape plan. Well, a lot has changed in 10 years with the federal government. We've yet to get that. Olivia Basenti is the grant writer, and I've spoken with her. She's knowledgeable. Maybe we'll get that plan this July, and I've asked her to keep Sandy Point neighborhood in the loop, specifically because we live there, we know what works, and we can help maintain it, because the city public works people just don't have the time or the inclination. Well, that's not me. Okay. And then Carol will talk more about other issues there. And again, Sandy Point Neighborhood Association. At Savin Rock Community School, we put in a native garden. And it was in the front of the school where the buses let the kids off and the people walk in. And the garden's about the size of this area. And it was just an overgrown garbage collecting area of overgrown bushes and nothing. So 2 years ago, Sandy Point Neighborhood Association and Vertical Church, I wrote a grant with Robin Parsons. We got $500 and then additional $200 of our association's money, tore everything up, put in natives, put down fresh mulch, and then the last 2 years we've been watering it, carrying buckets. Finally, we found out the school actually had a hose outlet, so we didn't have to carry buckets, and we got a hose and we watered the plants. They were doing beautiful. A month ago, we had native strawberries, blueberries. We've involved some of the school kids. We were teaching them why natives. Let's see the strawberries. They weren't ripe yet, but they were starting. Well, a week and a half ago, Board of Ed maintenance, they didn't see the sign. They demolished half of it with weed whackers, and they really worked hard to kill my witch hazel tree that I put in. So I'm here to say I've talked to Board of Ed Mike McGrath, and he understands now, and we're willing to work with any maintenance people. But I am putting together a list of the plants that were severely damaged that may not come back. We're hoping they'll come back. And I have receipts for what we paid, and I am going to respectfully submit them to whoever you tell me to. Mike McGrath, you, finance, because
I'll cut you a check.
because come fall, it's not appropriate now to plant them, but come fall, we'd like to do that because it really had come to look beautiful 2.5 weeks ago. So that's it. I don't like to complain, but I just want to keep you in the loop. And if you want to see the grant and the prices, I've got them. Okay, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Would anyone else from the public, ma'am?
Oh, wow, I haven't been here for, I can't tell you, a long time. I had to look around and see who I recognized and hope they recognized me because, a lot changes and over the years. It's Carol Soder. I live at 45 3rd Avenue Extension. And I'm talking about the problem that we're having, that I particularly am having on my street. Many of you probably remember the buyout of all the houses in District 2. And I have to do a little shout out to everybody who took part in that for years. They worked on that. Abdul Qadir and the mayors up to right this present mayor, and all of them who are continuing to look there and take a special interest in it. It really, really looks beautiful. Now, it took a few years for the houses to be removed, and during that time, my neighbor to the left of me, the house was standing, but the city did cut the grass and maintain it pretty much as far as, cutting and clipping. When the house came down, we didn't realize there was a major infestation of what they call roof rats. I looked up and what is a roof rat? It's just a rat that's like a Norway rat, but it has a different name because it can climb up higher. And it spreads germs. I thought maybe it would be more friendly, more, countrified and not so germy, but it's not true. It's a danger. And so what happened is I had to deal with the problem. And I went to City Hall and I talked to our grants writer, and she was very good. She also saw that I was having erosion from the house removal because my land was higher. And she got the city to give me some soil, and I started working on it as a volunteer. I was used to volunteering down there anyway. So the city did, they stopped the, the erosion, and they did cut the grass. Now, I know that I was there in the inception of the plan when we got the Abdul and we all worked on that grant from the Aggie department. And I know they had a plan for landscaping. And I'm so confused about what that plan is because when I go around, some of the land is beautifully landscaped. I don't know if the people are doing it, the neighbors are doing it, the city is doing it. I have no idea. And let me tell you that when I ask the people in the various departments, they're really good to me. It's not that anybody's snuffing me off or, they just don't know. They're not sure. They know that there is a plan. I say, my neighbor just did a little tiny lot, looks gorgeous. And I would like to do that too. But I don't want to break the rules. And I understand it has to be native, and I'm not sure in what direction that I have to go. So we need some answers. I need help. I will do my part in any beautification that needs to be done, but I'm hoping that somebody, I spoke with our council person today, and I know she's interested in helping us find the solution, just what we should do. Maybe there's no money. Maybe they change their mind. Maybe they'll let the volunteers do it. Maybe they'll give us a plan of natives or say you don't have to bother too much with natives. You could do both. But it just sits there. And also, I'm on a will call list for cutting grass. And I call and call and call. And the little girl who picks up the phone is a doll. And she says, I will give it to them. I'm sorry, Carol, we're working on it. But they're not doing it. They've kind of like stopped cutting the grass. And unfortunately, the roof rats are back. And my neighbor Chris, who's to the right of me, I'm not bringing pictures in to show you roof rats. You don't want to see them. And they're all over my yard. And they're not in the house, but they are outside and they're in the sheds. And I'm sitting on the patio and I see one scurry underneath. So I got rid of them the first time. I'm on the job. I'm trying to think of ways to get rid of them again without calling the exterminator. I don't even know what they charge. So I'll deal with that, but I need help, and there's also ticks. So that's why I'm asking you to be aware. And then if there's any way you can look up the old plan, find out from the government what they plan on doing, and then say, well, they don't want to do it, we'll do it, or we'll volunteer, or, just give us an idea. That's all I want. And thank you very much for listening.
Thank you, Ms. Soder. Just keep in contact with Councilwoman Tagliatelle, and I'm sure she will follow up with the appropriate city departments in the mayor's office.
Thank you.
Actually, Ms. Soder, do you plan on sticking around for the meeting, or are you heading out soon? Okay, so the mayor has some information for you, so I'll allow her to do that now.
Thanks so much. Normally I answer public session under new business, but I know that you probably want to head out. So just to catch everybody up who wasn't here before, so there was 23 homes that were destroyed during Sandy and Irene, and it was a federal program that came in and said, we will buy these homes, we will knock them down, but they have to be watersheds, right, so that the water could pool there. It took forever for those houses to come down. So I worked with Olivia, and I want to give a big shout out to Olivia because she's our grants writer. It's not really her role to manage this, but she takes on a lot more. That's why we just promoted her, by the way. So she's working with the USDA, and that is who manages these properties. And it's very frustrating because we get calls of people who want to buy those lots. They think they're building lots. We want to mow those lots. We want to plant. And it's very restricted. It was a great program to buy those houses and take them down because they were condemned, but now we're stuck because they're in the city and we can't do anything with them. So a couple of things. One, I ordered some signs to put on all the lots so that people understand, what those lots are, so they don't think you're familiar, but people are going down Brown Street, say, what the heck is going on with the corner of Brown and Peck? So people understand these are federal lots. We do have some neighbors at some of the lots that have actually encroached on the property. We have one neighbor that's built a swing set so legally now we have to address those issues. So we've been waiting for the USDA to give us the plan, and obviously the federal government takes a little long. So finally we said to them, let us do the plan and you pay us back. And they agreed, which is very exciting. So we're waiting for the plan from them, and then we will actually do the planting, and then we will get reimbursed. So that's where we are today, and it's actually moving now. So finally, I don't know what to do about the rats, but I will have Public Works go. I don't know why they're back. Yeah, but when the house has been gone a couple of years now, so.
Ms. Soder, Ms. Soder, I'm sorry to have to do this, but if you want to speak again, if you can go up to the mic.
It's
We just have to
okay.
keep everything up to the record.
It's
but-
all right. I get it, and you're near a lot of water. I'm on Lake Phipps. I get it. I get it too. But just want to let you know, it is restricted. You can't volunteer, although that is very nice of you to mow that grass. We're gonna try to take control of the properties with the USDA's permission. We just have to sign a lot of legal waivers, and it does need to be native plants, which are beautiful, but sometimes don't look as neat as non-native plants. So we're gonna try to balance that out. But Olivia's on the case. Well, we can't. We're restricted from doing it. I actually talked to Public Works about, like, is the federal government really going to come down and check out those lots? Like, just go ahead and mow them. But they no, we can't. No, we can't. But you know what? We'll ask the USDA if there's something else we could do. We will, and you and I can talk offline. I just want to let you know that we're working on it. Those are neighbors cutting them that shouldn't be. Yes. Okay. We want them all to look nice. We'll work on it. Okay. Thank you.
Thank
All
you
right.
for the update, Mayor. Thank you, Ms. Soder, for your comments. Would anyone else from the public like to address the City Council? For a second time, anyone else from the public like to address the City Council? Third and final time, anyone else from the public like to address the City Council? Seeing none, time is 7:19. Public session is closed. Okay, I will convene the June 8, 2026 regular City Council meeting to order. Time is 7:19. I'm looking for a motion to approve the journal of May 26, 2026.
Motion.
I have a motion from Councilman Beaton. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Councilman Ronan. Any discussion? Seeing.
Mayor, you want to go first?
May 7th, well, this is the journal approving of, and I think I abstained on May 7th.
You abstained on May
I
7th?
believe I did.
Okay.
Does that really matter? I don't know whether.
But she's saying that she abstained on passing the May 7th minutes.
Sorry.
No problem. Any other discussion? Councilman Acrelli?
For the May 26, 2026 regular meeting, for the roll call, I am not in there for some reason. And I was in attendance.
For the police?
For the roll call for the minutes,
Oh, okay.
I made the first motion too. so
Gotcha.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other discussion? May I have a motion to approve as corrected? Second, first from Councilwoman, and a second from Acrelli. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Madam Clerk, when you were all set with that, will you please hand out the communications?
We have before us this evening Communication A from Mayor Dorinda Borer requesting consideration and action on an amendment to Chapter 206, Streets and Sidewalks of the Code of the City of West Haven, to add Article 8, Leaves and Yard Waste, being assigned to the Legislative Matters Committee, Chairman Quagliani. Communication B from Mayor Dorinda Borer requesting consideration and action regarding a resolution requiring a one-year moratorium on the development of data centers, being assigned to the Legislative Matters Committee, Chairman Quagliani. And Communication C from Mayor Dorinda Borer requesting consideration and action on the reappointment of Christian Sanchez, 541 Island Lane, West Haven, to the Fair Rent Commission. Mr. Sanchez's reappointment will become effective immediately and will expire on June 30th, 2028. And that concludes our communications for this evening, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Okay, first up, two items under Council as a whole. First is an ARPA update. Mr. Carney, we have not seen you in some time. Oh, you did not disappoint. We were taking the over-under of how many pages the packet was going to be. There we go. Yay.
Sorry.
Mr. Chairman, thank you for the opportunity to come before the council and go over ARPA matters. I'd like to spend a moment and draw your attention to the booklet. So if you turn the page, you have an example of a agenda. And what happens from a process standpoint is ARPA collects all the invoices. When those invoices come to us, we compare them to the contracts, or if it's work being done, we go out and we inspect the work and take pictures. Some invoices are denied. They're denied because they're not in the right format. They don't meet the federal guidelines. Some invoices have nothing to do with ARPA. We get rid of those. Other invoices are denied because the work hasn't been completed to the extent the invoice represents. Once we clean that up, we then put it on the agenda, which is the first 3 pages of your booklet. And then each invoice is approved in public on camera. So every single invoice that's eventually paid can be traced back to a public session on camera. When the invoices are approved, we then create a letter, which is your 4th or 5th page. And this one is made out to Dave Taylor. And in this letter, we detail all of the invoices that were approved at the meeting the night before. We then record the invoices on an old-fashioned accounting sheet, which is that green sheet in your booklet. So we don't have access to Munis. We use actually pen and paper, and every invoice is recorded. And then we meet with the finance department and we compare notes. ARPA approves all of the invoices and finance cuts the check for all the invoices. And that's a pretty good system because not one party has control of all the funds. If you go to the first page, you will see the Kerrigan tennis courts. That was ARPA funded. That's a playscape in the back, a sports court, if you will. The next page is the Haley ramp. This ramp was closed down, and it's being used. If you drive by Haley, you'll see little kids using this ramp all the time. That was rebuilt with ARPA funds. The next page shows a buried culvert, and you turn the page again, and you see the culvert brought back to life. I got to tell you, Public Works is all over this. I've got about 45 examples of culverts that are basins that are completely covered by someone's lawn. You can't find it, and then you turn the page and they found it, they redid it, and the flooding issues have been reduced dramatically around town, not because of millions of dollars in studies or new infrastructure, but because the existing infrastructure has been brought back to life. And I think, in my opinion, Phil Sissick is doing a great job, as is his whole staff. This is happening all over town. It's really, really good. Turn the page again, you will see the artificial football field as well as the artificial softball field at the high school, funded by ARPA. Your next page is a block building. This is the garage annex over at the Allentown Firehouse on Fairfax Street. That was funded by ARPA. Turn the page again and you'll see life-saving equipment. that was funded by ARPA, used by the fire departments. Then, if you turn the page again, you'll see the inside of that garage, and you will see the vehicle that was also funded by ARPA. And the next page has a better look at the vehicle. The next page is the new bunks, clean, safe bunks created over on Fairfax Street with ARPA funds. And then if you turn the page again, you'll see a different style of bunks, and that is over at West Shore on Benham Hill, all paid for by ARPA. Turn the page again, you'll see the construction, which is much further than this picture depicts, of the Ocean Avenue West Shore Fire Station. They're getting separate bunks for male and female firefighters. They're creating a secure office environment, and they're creating a conference room, and that's well underway. Turn the page again, you'll see a house, 816 Savin Ave. That is the Center District. That house has been fully abated and is ready to come down. And that's how they spent their ARPA funds. They bought the house. They're going to extend their parking lot. Turn the page again, you'll see the shot of the shore. And this is the extent of the cameras on the shore paid for by ARPA, between the arrows. The next page shows the memorial. This is the Vietnam Memorial that was expanded with all the West Haven names in conjunction with the veterans, again paid for by ARPA. And then we have a picture of a window. Everyone in this building will tell you they're very happy with the new windows. Okay. Next page shows the new rubber roof and HVAC at the Noble Community Center building. And the next page shows the new tennis courts at Painter Park. And the last page, second to last page, shows the addition that will be happening on the animal shelter. Our low bidder came in within budget, and our scope review with the architect and the contractor is this Friday at 2 o'clock, at which point we will give the green light to begin. And the last page is a shot of the vac truck that was funded by ARPA money. I didn't get you pictures of the parks, but hundreds of thousands of dollars have been completed because of ARPA funds in all the parks in town. And there's many other projects. Some I can't take pictures of, such as the food that was given out to the people who needed food. We had summer jobs for students. We have music bands that came in under ARPA funded, those sort of things. So the tracker is not Munis. Munis records the extent of the PO. We're just recording what was actually approved for payment. So when you see $3.3 million to spend, roughly $3 million of that is committed under a PO somewhere. And as the work happens, it goes through the process. We've never missed a month. We've never not had a quorum. We've never had suspicion of missing funds or anything like that. Our numbers match up with the numbers of the finance department, a great finance department on top of things. And that's basically where we are with ARPA. Yes.
Hi, Ken. It's been
Hello.
a while.
Good to see you.
Me too. I'm just confused with these X's. I was just wondering why some of these invoices don't have a purchase order number.
So there is a purchase order number. It's just not on my tracker.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Ken, how are we tracking with whatever ARPA funds have not been spent by the end of this year? I understand that. I recall that last year this body approved a resolution that anything's not spent is going to get wrapped into a paving MOU.
So the paving MOU is a catch-all. As we get closer to the deadline, any excess funds from all the projects will drop into the paving MOU. Now the challenge is the opportunity to pave sort of ends around here September 15th because they close the plants around mid-October. So we don't have a December 31st deadline. We have a September 15th deadline to make sure that the feds do not claw back any of these funds.
And that's a deadline to spend, correct?
Well, it's a deadline that if we don't think the expenditure is going to happen by December 31st, we divert the money into that bucket of money, into that project.
Okay, so we have until December 31st to actually spend the funds, but if your committee believes that
If there's a high risk, we do a risk assessment.
Yeah.
For example, if someone wants to start a project right now with ARPA funds, we know that's not going to happen. So that money, we would tell them, come up with a different plan, because on September 15th, we're putting that money in the paving bucket.
And that's a decision that the ARPA committee makes, right?
Correct.
Okay. Yeah. Questions? Councilman Donovan?
Ken, I know you explained before, but I forgot the boilers. What happened with that?
The boiler came out of ARPA and went to bonding.
Went to bonding.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's off the list.
All right, thank you.
All set? Councilman Quagliani?
Thank you, Chair. Hi, Ken.
Hello, sir.
So looking at the tracker, there's probably, I don't know, six or seven items that are very low as far as spending. Do you have any concerns with these items that they're not going to meet that deadline? I see youth employment, animal shelter, library, food bank support. I mean, are there any ones that you think are at risk?
So I believe we have MOUs against several of these categories. The largest deficiency would be the library. Now, the library has worked very hard to find a building in Allentown, which, as hard as they tried, it doesn't exist. You would think there's a building there you could find. You got one now? Okay. That's news to me. All right. So I was under the impression that they're going to buy a coach. I'm hearing that may not happen now. We spoke to the consultants who give us our advice, and they said that there's not much difference between someone going to a library or the library coming to them. So with that, to save some of this money for library use, the coach idea came up. And that was accepted by the consultants. So we looked at some bids that came in at the last ARPA meeting. It's coming in around $500,000, but the balance of this fund would then go to paving, unless there's new news I'm not aware of.
How about the other items that Councilman Quagliani had mentioned that are tracking a little lower? Do you foresee that those funds are going to be committed and spent?
I do.
Okay. So off the top of your head, excluding the library, because that seems to be a bit of a fluid situation, do you have a number in mind of what's going to go into that catch-all?
Well, we have some open MOUs. The catch-all maxes out at $750, and we'll probably use a good part of that.
Okay. Any other questions? Councilman Tucker?
Hi, good evening, Ken. Question
Hello.
about, again, I know you said this, I'm just going to ask you to repeat it about September 15th, the September 15th deadline. What has to be
Sure.
you guys again?
So the federal deadline is to have the check cut by December 31st. Any funds left on the table go back to the feds.
Yeah.
Our catch-all project is a paving project.
Yeah.
We can't pave in December.
Right.
So what's happening is we can take any excess funds, drop it into the paving MOU, but that deadline is September 15th in order to get orders in before the October 15th closing of the plants. That's as close as we can cut it without giving back money. So if we miss that paving deadline, there's no other place to put these funds. It goes back to the feds. You can't create a new project. Everything else is already funded. You can't change the scope.
Mm-hmm.
So now you've lost the money.
Okay.
Councilwoman Callahan?
Thank you, Chairman. Hello, Ken.
Hello, how are you?
This is beautiful. Thank you. These projects look amazing.
Yeah, they really
I wanna
do.
drive by them in person and see them all nicely done. To go back with what everybody else is saying, what's in the bucket fund right now? Or is there anything in the bucket fund? Or does that fill up in September?
Right now, the bucket fund is $482,000, 28 change has been spent, so about 455.
But a lot of that is going to these lower amounts that aren't filled yet, correct? Is that part of
Well,
the bucket fund?
What's happening is we're actually taking money out of paving right now to fund other projects. We can't have a contingency, but we can have a bucket known as paving. So, for example, if we run over $20,000 on a job, we can go to paving and pull it out. As we get closer to the September 15 deadline, everything stops and the money goes into paving.
So if I'm to understand this correctly, I understand the financial part. Does the work have to be done by September 15th for the paving?
Now,
I know that
well,
because then the factories close down in October.
The paving does. We have to put the orders in by September 15th, yeah.
So how would that happen then if we're pulling money out of the paving fund right now? My question basically is if there's extra money in that bucket for paving, can we put those projects to use right now for extra roads to get paved?
We have been doing that. For example, I'll give you an example. So over at Kerrigan, we had a paving project. That money came out of paving. That's at $26,000. Okay. There are other projects that have gone over budget slightly. We've gone to paving, which is really a contingency, which we're, okay. We pull it out of there, and then as we get close to September 15th, that locks up any funds that aren't spent on the other projects, go into paving, and we order repaving of streets.
So the closer we get into the summer and you realize that more of these projects are closer to be completed, we can circle back and see what's left in the bucket and maybe to spend all the money, add a couple more roads or
Well,
whatever
that's up to
see.
you guys, but here's what happens. Let me give you an example. So we have $316,000 low bid right now for the animal edition.
Okay.
Okay, animal shelter edition. Let's say we start that job, a sinkhole opens up, we need another $50,000. Okay, I can't. It's not there. I have to go to paving to pull it out.
I see.
Okay, so until I get through that milestone, I at least wouldn't feel comfortable spending a lot of that money until we finalize some of these projects. And by September 15th, we'll be beyond the point of surprises and change orders, and then whatever's left goes to paving.
Got it. Do you foresee a lot of these low end, the ones that aren't fulfilled right now, being done through the summer? That we might have a little bit of a window.
Well, so right now, the ones that you're seeing are not done are only not done from approving invoices. We actually have contracts and open POs on a lot of those. So that's another report that I don't do. I don't do the Munis report. And you would see that these buckets are filled up much more than they are now.
Okay.
We just haven't gotten the invoices yet.
Okay, so we might have a chance, if there's a little money left, we might have a little bit of an open window to spend that extra money, the closer we get to the middle of it.
We're going to spend all the money.
Okay.
Yeah, and the way to do it is to have this MOU called paving that gives us September 15th deadline, and anything that we think we're not going to make by December goes into that paving bucket.
Okay, no, I understood that. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. All set.
Thank you. Ken, on the completed projects, the Food Bank Support Fund had about, just rough numbers, $85,000 left over. Do you have an explanation of why that wasn't funded to a greater degree?
One of the recipients did not perform, so the money was pulled back, and it was allocated elsewhere.
Okay, there's nothing we can do about that, because food insecurity is a big issue in West Haven. Is there an opportunity to put any funds back into that program, or is it
No,
because it's done?
The council creates the projects. That responsibility had a hard ending on December of 24. You cannot create another project.
Okay. And then to Councilwoman Callahan's point, what's the process for the committee to, because you're balancing two different deadlines and they're competing with each other. So we have to spend the money by the end of the year, but you have an earlier deadline to move money into another project so you can spend it by the end of the year. Can you walk me through how you're balancing that to make sure that a potential recipient doesn't lose out on funding that they're counting on, that they think that they're going to be good on, but maybe you have some reservations? Can you just walk me through how that's going to work?
So, it comes down to risk assessment, right? So if someone says to me, we're going to put an addition on a building now, okay? You have to go through a procurement process to hire an architect. That takes 2 months. Once you hire the architect, there has to be a federal contract created for that architect. That's at least 2 weeks. Then the architect needs 2 to 3 months to design the addition. Then you have to go to P&Z. Then you have to go to inland wetlands. They're usually a month apart. Then you have to put that out to bid to a contractor. That's 2 months. And then the contractor needs at least a month to sign a contract, do a scope review, and start the job. We're way past December of 26. So we look at what is involved realistically based on historical data, the additions that we've built and the things that we've done, to make sure that we're going to make it on time. And when someone starts talking about a new project now, it's not going to work.
But the library's project is an acquisition of a site, correct? So they don't have to go through that.
No, if they found a building and they could certainly close in that building before December 31st. If, I know nothing about it, but let's just assume that everything's a green light, they can close in the building, there's no issue there at all. If I'm told that it's contaminated, it needs a phase 1 study, a phase 2 study, and it might need a big cleanup, and we'll find out about that in November, then we got a problem.
But that's only if those items prohibit closing. Once it closed, they can use these funds to acquire, and then it's going to be the library's issue to deal with, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
That's correct.
So I want to ask my question again, because I want to make sure I understand it. The project isn't the fit up of a building. It's they can use it to acquire a building, and then
the council resolution allows them to use the funds to acquire a piece of property in Allentown specifically for use of a library.
Okay. So once they acquire it, anything that happens,
we're off.
ARPA does not care about that.
We have no authority over it.
Okay.
But yeah.
Okay. Any other questions from the council? Councilman Tucker?
A couple more questions for me. The question I have is around the funds associated with both youth employment and youth programs. It looks like there's still funds available. Can you talk a little bit about both of those programs and where you are with the invoices that would be drawn from them?
So the invoices that we've seen to date are shown here on this chart. Every month we get more invoices towards those 2 buckets of money.
Mm-hmm.
And there are MOUs and contracts in existence to spend that money. And we think that's low risk. We think that'll be spent long before December of 31.
Okay, so it's committed.
31 of 26. Yeah.
It's committed, and it's all gonna go.
We'll keep monitoring it. Right now, it's not a concern. It's a low risk. These are things that can be purchased very, very quickly. You don't need to go through a bunch of committees. You don't need to do a lot of things that a physical plant would make you do.
Right. Can you give me some examples of what you mean then? Because it sounds like you have an idea of what they are, but it's just, you're at 18% for one and 38% spend for the other one. So what kind of projects are you looking at for those?
So those are projects that are defined in an MOU and are at the mayor's discretion.
Okay. I'd love to hear, but just let me ask my other question before I forget, because you know how that works. All right. The Savin Rock Playground and the Grandscape. So it looks like that's 84% completed. Can you describe what work went into that?
Which line item?
It is 22058, Savin Rock Playground and Grandscape. Savin Rock Playground. It's probably number 10 from the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4.
See the number here. All right, so what we did there, I should have brought a picture of that. So we created a groundscape. If you go over there, it's beautiful. There is a track. There are 5 games within that track for kids to use. There's a bridge over a ravine for the kids to balance on. It's all flat, a groundscape. But that's where that money was spent. And there may have been some repairs to the playscape as well.
Okay.
Yep.
And is that completed? Because I see 84% completed there. Is there more work
so
to be
there's
done?
an example. When it's below the line, completed projects, it means that we came in under budget. And then those funds were moved to paving or somewhere else.
Okay, cool. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Mayor, if you want to answer the councilwoman's question.
Sure.
I can answer. First of all, thank you, Ken. Thanks for all the work that you do.
Thanks for making it easy. We appreciate you.
Does it look easy? So first I'll answer Councilwoman Tucker's question, and then I'm just going to quickly go down some of these because I have a little bit more information to add. So the youth programs, a good portion of that is the community center, remember, is delayed. It was supposed to open June, July, and now it's opening October. So a good portion of that is going to be used to fund the programs and to help augment the second floor of the community center. Youth employment, we're speaking with, and I'm looking at John, there's a youth employment program for the city, and they're a little short. So we're trying to see if we can transfer some of these funds to them. That's the Jim Egan program that engages the teenagers in the city, and then they're employed, all different departments in the city, but also organizations that are looking for summer help.
Okay.
So I'm pretty confident that will be spent. And I could run down this real quick. Financial management, we know that's our legal team and our federal consultants, which we're required to pay for. Neighborhood parks, don't worry about that. Ernie Shirelli has every penny of that spent. Yep. He is at our parks all the time, and that's very, very low compared to the 292 because he has invoices in the queue. And thank you to Melly, who sends us a list about parks from the districts, and we use those lists. Library program, that is the computers. City Hall windows, that's done. That'll probably go to paving. And you could correct me if I'm wrong.
That we have one more door to do. We're fighting with the UI. About 15,000 of that is going to be used.
That's the basement door. Okay. Yeah. All right. And then the rest will go to paving.
Correct.
Monitor cameras, there's $81,000 left. Ricky Fontana has plans for that, which he'll probably share next time he's here. Youth employment, I talked about. Housing crisis response, that's our warming center. We still have to, but it's also our cooling center. So we really still have to get through the summer and into the winter. Main breaker circuits, that's that.
Waiting for another bill to come in for Noble.
Yeah.
That's all that money's spent.
Okay, all right. Supports for arts in the community, that's probably down to about 50,000 now compared to the invoices that they're getting ready to submit. Animal shelter, that is underway. The bids came in. Remind me. The bids came in, and we picked somebody.
Yes, Milestone Construction was the low bidder.
Okay.
Scope review is this Friday.
Okay.
316, but there's a chance to lower that by 10 grand, and we are partnering with an urban development grant to build that.
Okay. All right. So we'll be able to use that. Youth programs, we talked about. Site development for library, we talked about. Stormwater problems. And actually, for a couple of these categories. So stormwater, we were able to use a portion of the stormwater line item to pay for our team to do all those catch basins. So we're allowed to pay for salaries, and that is what helped with the budget. So we found out that we were able to cover. So there's this group of 4 guys in Public Works who are really trained, and that you mentioned that earlier about we're getting all the stormwater cleaned up. So we were actually able to help cover their salaries. And it's important to mention these things because sometimes I'll get text because there's 1 or 2 people that go online and they put out these false narratives like that's double dipping. No, rather than have a consultant to pay for someone at a high price to come and do these, why not train us in-house and cover the salary? And we've had the ability to do that. And just, because they do, sometimes hear about those false narratives. Just a reminder when somebody says, why are you spending money this and why are you spending money on that? We've given money to our fire department. We've given money to our police department. We're addressing stormwater. We're giving to youth programs. We did do, the food insecurity the best we could. A housing crisis. We had the warming center for the first time. Paving. I mean, this is not all the, I'm using other money for paving. We're almost up to 90 roads out of 380 roads in the city of West Haven for the first time in a very long time. Doing these, the child pedestrian safety, the aid to small businesses. We put out $450,000 to 40 businesses that needed $10,000 in grants, and that's what that money was supposed to be used for. COVID was supposed to make things healthy. Let's not forget what COVID was all about. So they were able to apply for $10,000 grants to put in new windows and patios and new HVAC system for, a healthier lifestyle. So the list just goes on and on about all the great things that we're doing with this funding. So I don't like that false narrative, what is everybody doing with the funding? We're doing some really good stuff with this funding, and it's been very organized. And sometimes I'll hear, oh, it should be audited. It's audited. It's audited every 2 weeks. Every invoice is reviewed transparently in a public setting, and we have federal auditors that audit this every month. We're required to. So we have a legal team, and we have a federal consultant that we're required to look at everything we do. And that's why when Ken says things like, we can't spend it by this date, or we have to claw back, or you can't create new categories or things like that, that is advice that's coming from our federal guidelines. Right. So it is very organized. It is a lot of money. This was a lot of money. We want to make sure it was, managed appropriately. And I think, you've demonstrated that it is. So I just wanted to get that out.
It's worth mentioning, there's a lot of towns that have already committed to giving the money back.
Yeah.
They can't spend it. A lot of other towns only did 3 or 4 projects. Look at the list of projects we did.
Right. Some of them only had maybe 4 categories or so, but we really tried to address all the pain points in the city. And I think actually a lot of it was the prior council, and a lot of it was, coming up with the categories. Right? I didn't come up with the categories. I'm just using the money and making sure it's getting spent and making sure it's getting spent in the right way. Thank you, Ken.
Thank you.
And I have one final question. What's the playground? Is that at the school, or where is that located? The Savin Rock playground.
It's at the school. It's a groundscape at the school.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Right in the side of the school.
Is that the same? No. Okay. I'll ask you later.
All set?
Thank you. Yes.
Councilman McMillan?
I do have a question, and maybe the mayor answered it and I'm not paying attention. It's just related to
Typical.
It's related to your stormwater problem areas. I'm just concerned about the issue that we had over on, with the basin in West Haven, in my district, with the Cove River. The governor had given us the money. Is that the same thing? The study that we were supposed to do, Sanford Street.
Yeah.
Is that the
no?
Okay,
that's
I'm
separate.
sorry.
The money that we got from the state is separate than this. This is going out and replacing basins and cleaning them out and sucking them out.
Got you.
Getting all the debris and the sediment at the base of the, whatever. I don't know all the terms. All I know is we get. And one of the things we bought with this money was a vac truck. Let's not forget that. So that was attributed towards stormwater. We have a vac truck now that works.
Got you.
But yeah, it's different money.
Thank you.
Councilwoman Callahan?
Thank you. I'd like to piggyback off of Councilman McMillan. Good point on there. Is there still any money left in that fund, Ken, if we happen to get a constituent that tells us that, I know in my neighborhood there is actually one. Is there room to, if we see something, put it on the list?
Yes, absolutely, because we're still doing basins every day.
Because that's huge. All right, that's good to know. All right, thank you very much.
Any other questions? All right. Ken, I hope that we're going to see you at least one more time before the end of the year, and you're going to tell us that all the money's been spent and not a single nickel.
If you don't see me, you'll know why.
And we're going to chase you. Before you go, though, please extend our heartfelt thanks to everybody that's on your committee. For years, you have all put in so much time with the mayor and her staff, the former council, the former administration, to get us to where we are. Millions and millions of dollars to go to benefit West Haven and its taxpayers. And I hope that no one feels it's gone unnoticed. It's certainly not unnoticed by this body. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you all, and it's great working with you. Thank you.
Thank
Great
you.
night. Thank you.
If you don't come back, we're going to find you. Okay, next item for council as a whole is a quick resolution. When we passed the FY 26-27 budget last week, the resolution inadvertently did not include the 5-year capital plan. We have until July under our charter to approve that, but I'd like to just get it underway. There were no changes to it by this council, so we're just going to hopefully approve it as is. So the resolution reads, be it resolved that the City Council of the City of West Haven hereby approves the 5-year capital plan as set forth in Mayor Bora's recommended budget for fiscal year 2026 to 2027. May I have a motion to approve?
Motion.
Motion from Councilman McMillan. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Councilwoman Akbarelli. Any discussion? Seeing none, just because we did this for every other budget item, I'm going to ask for a roll call vote.
Councilwoman Melly Garthwaite,
Yes.
Councilman Peter Rivera,
Yes.
Councilman Sean Ronan,
Yes.
Councilwoman Ann Heffernan,
Aye.
Councilwoman Nancy Tagliatella,
Yes.
Councilwoman Sarah Akbarelli,
Yes.
Councilman Gary Donovan,
Yes.
Councilman Edward McMillan,
Yes.
Councilwoman Dawn Callahan,
Yes.
Councilwoman Catherine Tucker,
She stepped out.
Councilman David Beaton,
Yes.
Councilman Ronald Quagliani,
Yes.
and Chairman Christopher Vargo.
Yes. Motion carries. Okay, the time is 7:59. We will recess into committee meetings. First up is the Finance Committee. Chairwoman Akbarelli.
Thank you, Chairman. The time is 7:59, and your Committee on Finance is now in session. Members present are Councilman Quagliani, Councilwoman Garthwaite, Councilwoman Tucker, Councilman Donovan, and myself, Councilwoman Akbarelli, as chair. First order of business, tonight we have before us Communication B from the May 26, 2026 agenda. I'd like to open this up favorably, please. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion from the committee? Any discussion from the council? All those approved?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. All right, the next one is Communication C from the May 2026 agenda. I would like to open this up favorably, please. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
Thank you so much. Any discussion from the committee? Any discussion from the council? Seeing there are none. All those approved?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Chairman, the time is now 8 o'clock, and your Committee on Finance is now closed.
Thank you. Now moving on to legislative matters, which I hope is a little bit more lively. Chairman Quagliani.
Don't bet on it. Thank
Come on
you.
down.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The time is 8 o'clock, and your Committee on Legislative Matters is now in session. Members present are Councilpersons Tucker, Akbarelli, Ronan, Garthwaite, and myself, Councilman Quagliani, acting as chair. Tonight before us, we have Communication A from tonight's agenda. I'd like to entertain a motion to bring this out favorably to the whole council and to schedule a public hearing for June 22nd, 2026 at 6:59 p.m.
Motion.
Second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Ronan. Any discussion in the committee? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Any abstentions? And that motion carries. We also have in front of us tonight Communication B from tonight's agenda. I'd like to entertain a motion to bring this out favorably to the whole council.
So moved.
By Councilwoman Akbarelli. Is there a second?
Second.
By Councilman Ronan. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? And that motion carries. And Mr. Chairman, that concludes your business of legislative matters at 8:02 p.m.
Thank you. Kicking it off to Personnel and Civil Service, Chairman Ronan. Your mic.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The time is 8:02. The Committee on Personnel and Civil Service is now in session. Members present are Councilpersons Tagliatella, Akbarelli, Rivera, Garthwaite, and myself, Ronan, acting as chair. We have before us tonight Communication C from tonight's agenda. A request from Mayor Dorinda Boer on consideration and action on the reappointment of Christian Sanchez, 541 Island Lane, West Haven, Connecticut, to the Fair Rent Commission. Mr. Sanchez's reappointment will become effective immediately and will expire on June 30th, 2028. I've been through Mr. Sanchez's packet. Everything's in order. It's a reappointment. He serves as a vice chairman on the committee, and I'd like to entertain a motion to bring it out favorably.
So moved.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. That concludes the business of Personnel and Civil Service at 8:03.
Thank you. And rounding home plate is Public Lands. Chairman Donovan.
Thank you, Chairman. The time is now 8:03. The Committee on Public Lands is now in session. Members present, Councilpersons Heffernan, Quagliani, McMillan, Garthwaite, and myself, Councilman Donovan, acting as chair. We have before us tonight Communication N from the May 26, 2026 agenda. I'd like to entertain a motion to bring this out favorably to the whole council.
So moved.
Motion.
Second.
Second.
Say it again.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. The Committee on Public Lands is now closed at 8:04.
Thank you. Moving on to unfinished business. Only item is charter revision. Councilman Quagliani, do you have anything to add? And if once you're finished, I will go through the meeting schedule.
That's the only thing that I was going to speak to, Mr. Chairman.
If you'd like to, go ahead.
Well, I'm not going to do as thorough as you're going to do. But as far as charter revision, tomorrow night at 6:30 and Wednesday at 6:30, the council will meet to go over the draft charter revision that was sent to us, and also on the city website so the public could view it. And then tomorrow night and Wednesday night is for us to go through it section by section and make our determinations, and I'll defer to the chairman on the rest of the dates.
Thank you. We've added a third night just in case we're unable to get through it on Wednesday because we do have such a tight timetable on all this. So we have reserved next Monday, also at 6:30, here in City Council chambers for an overflow. If we finish on Wednesday, then I will cancel Monday. If not, then we have to wrap up Monday. Next Wednesday at 6:30, Harriet North, we will have the public hearing. Then the following day, the 18th, at 7 o'clock, we will be back here for our final vote. That will be a vote to send all of our recommendations to the Charter Revision Commission. And then the following week, the 24th, is a Wednesday, 6:30. Location still to be determined, will be a joint meeting called of the City Council and the Charter Revision Commission to have an open dialogue on our recommended changes and questions. And then the ball will be back in their court where they will deliberate and decide what changes they're going to accept and what they want to do. And then sometime in August, it'll be kicked back to us for the final vote and the determination of what questions goes on the ballot. And I think that'll be in August. Any questions? Excellent. Moving on to committee reports. Start off with the Finance Committee. Chairwoman Akbarelli.
Thank you, Chairman. To the Honorable City Council of the City of West Haven, your Committee on Finance, to whom is referred the matter of consideration and action regarding Communication B from the May 26, 2026 agenda, approval of the Community Development Administration Program Year 52 Neighborhood Assistance Program budget. City of West Haven Fire Department, Allentown, $5,000. Reports that the committee met on the 8th day of June 2026 to consider said matter. It is the unanimous opinion of the committee that the following motion be presented. Resolved. The City Council of the City of West Haven hereby approves the following. Whereas the City of West Haven Fire Department, Allentown, has applied through the West Haven Community Development Administration for funds provided by the 2026 State of Connecticut Neighborhood Assistance Act, NAA, in the amount of $5,000 to be used for its Certified Child Safety Car Seat Installation and Inspection Program. Whereas the NAA delegates authority to the City of West Haven, acting through the City Council, to approve such applications for funding. And whereas the public hearing on the application was duly held before the regular meeting of the West Haven City Council on June 8th, 2026, in accordance to the requirements of the NAA. Resolved. The City Council of the City of West Haven hereby approves the application for the City of West Haven Fire Department, Allentown, for the NAA funds in the amount of $5,000 to be used for its certified child safety car seat installation and inspection program. And I so move.
Thank you. I have a motion from Councilman Accarelli regarding the CDA program year 52 NAA for $5,000 to the Allentown Fire Department. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Councilwoman Heffernan. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries.
Thank you, Chairman. To the Honorable City Council of the City of West Haven, your Committee on Finance, to whom was referred the matter of consideration and action regarding Communication B from the May 26, 2026 agenda, approval of the Community Development Administration Program Year 52 Neighborhood Assistance Program budget. West Haven Community House Association, Inc., $7,149.73. Reports that the committee met on the 8th day of June 2026 to consider said matter. It is the unanimous opinion of the committee that the following motion be presented. Resolved. The City Council of the City of West Haven hereby approves the following. Whereas the West Haven Community House Association, Inc. has applied through the West Haven Community Development Administration for funds provided by the 2026 State of Connecticut Neighborhood Assistance Act, NAA, and the amount of $7,149.73 to be used for replacement of its Head Start program's kitchen freezer. And whereas the NAA delegates authority to the City of West Haven, acting through the City Council, to approve such applications for funding. And whereas a public hearing on the application was duly held before the regular meeting of the West Haven City Council on June 8th, 2026, in accordance to the requirements of the NAA. Resolved. The City Council of the City of West Haven hereby approves the application of the West Haven Community House Association, Inc. for NAA funds in the amount of $7,149.73 to be used for replacement of its Head Start program's kitchen freezer. And I so move.
Thank you. I have a motion from Councilman Accarelli regarding the CDA program year 52 NAA to fund Community House Association amount of $7,149.73. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Councilwoman Tucker. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions?
Abstain.
One abstention. Motion carries.
Thank you, Chairman. To the Honorable City Council of the City of West Haven, your Committee on Finance, to whom was referred the matter of consideration and action regarding Communication B from the May 26, 2026 agenda, approval of the Community Development Administration Program Year 52 Neighborhood Assistance Program budget. The Ward Heitman House Museum Foundation, Inc., $18,000. Reports that the committee met on the 8th day of June 2026 to consider said matter. It is the unanimous opinion of the committee that the following motion be presented. Resolved. The City Council of the City of West Haven hereby approves the following. Whereas the Ward Heitman House Museum Foundation, Inc., a tax-exempt nonprofit organization, has applied through the West Haven Community Development Administration for funds provided by the 2026 State of Connecticut Neighborhood Assistance Act, NAA, in the amount of $18,000 to be used for the historic restoration and energy conservation. And whereas the NAA delegates authority to the City of West Haven, acting through the City Council, to approve such applications for funding. And whereas a public hearing on the application was duly held before the regular meeting of the West Haven City Council on June 8th, 2026, in accordance to the requirements of the NAA. Resolved that the City Council of the City of West Haven hereby approves the application of the West Haven Ward Heitman House Museum Foundation, Inc. for NAA funds in the amount of $18,000 to be used for its historic restoration and energy conservation. And I so move.
I have a motion from Councilwoman Accarelli regarding NAA funding in the amount of $18,000 to the Ward Heitman House. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Councilwoman Tucker. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries.
Thank you, Chairman. To the Honorable City Council of the City of West Haven, your Committee on Finance, to whom was referred the matter of consideration and action regarding Communication B from the May 26, 2026 agenda, approval of the Community Development Administration Program Year 52 Neighborhood Assistance Program budget, Maricash Inc., $20,000. Reports that the committee met on the 8th day of June 2026 to consider said matter. It is the unanimous opinion of the committee that the following motion be presented. Resolved, the City Council of the City of West Haven hereby approves the following. Whereas, Maricash Inc. has applied through the West Haven Community Development Administration for funds provided by the 2026 State of Connecticut Neighborhood Assistance Act, NAA, in the amount of $20,000 to be used for window replacement in its Lake Street Group home in West Haven. And whereas, the NAA delegates authority of the City of West Haven, acting through its City Council, to approve such applications for funding. And whereas, a public hearing on the application was duly held before the regular meeting of the West Haven City Council on June 8th, 2026, in accordance to the requirements of the NAA. Resolved, that the City Council of the City of West Haven hereby approves the application of Maricash for NAA funds in the amount of $20,000 to be used for window replacement in its Lake Street Group home, and I so move.
Thank you. I have a motion from Councilman Accarelli regarding NAA funding in the amount of $20,000 to Maricash. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Councilman Beaton. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries.
Thank you, Chairman. To the Honorable City Council of the City of West Haven, your Committee on Finance, to whom was referred the matter of consideration and action regarding Communication B from the May 26, 2026 agenda, approval of the Community Development Administration Program Year 52 Neighborhood Assistance Program budget, Connecticut Financial Scholars, $8,000. Reports that the committee met on the 8th day of June 2026 to consider said matter. It is the unanimous opinion of the committee that the following motion be presented. Resolved, the City Council of the City of West Haven hereby approves the following. Whereas, Connecticut Financial Scholars, Inc. has applied through the West Haven Community Development Administration for funds provided by the 2026 State of Connecticut Neighborhood Assistance Act, NAA, in the amount of $8,000 to support its classroom program and personal finance education within the West Haven Public Schools. Whereas, the NAA delegates authority of the City of West Haven, acting through its City Council, to approve such applications for funding. And whereas, a public hearing on the application was duly held before the regular meeting of the West Haven City Council on June 8th, 2026, in accordance to the requirements of the NAA. Resolved, that the City Council of the City of West Haven hereby approves the application of Connecticut Financial Scholars, Inc. for NAA funds in the amount of $8,000 to support its classroom program and personal finance education within the West Haven Public Schools. And I so move.
Thank you. I have a motion from Councilman Accarelli to approve NAA funding in the amount of $8,000 for Connecticut Financial Scholars. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Councilman Callahan. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Thank you, Chairman. To the Honorable City Council of the City of West Haven, your Committee on Finance, to whom was referred the matter of consideration and action regarding Communication C from the May 26, 2026 agenda. Reports that the committee met on the 8th day of June 2026 to consider said matter. It is a unanimous opinion of the committee that the following motion be presented. Resolved, the City Council of the City of West Haven hereby approves the following. Whereas, the City Council of West Haven Community Development Administration has grant funds available through the Community Development Block Grant Program of the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development for its 52nd program year, commencing July 1st, 2026 and ending June 30th, 2027. And whereas, the City of West Haven Community Development Administration has submitted its budget for the expenditure of such grant funds to the City of West Haven City Council for review, public hearing, and approval. And whereas a duly noticed and published public hearing was held on June 8th, 2026, before the City Council, after which this City Council met to review, discuss, and vote on the budget. Now therefore be it resolved that the City of West Haven Community Development Administration's budget for grant funds available through the Community Development Block Grant Program of the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development for its 52nd program year commencing July 1st, 2026 and ending June 30th, 2027 is hereby approved as presented, and I so move.
Thank you. I have a motion from Councilman Accarelli regarding the approval of a proposed CDBG budget for program year 52. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Councilman Tucker. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions?
Abstain.
One abstention. Motion carries.
Thank you, Chairman. Business on finance has concluded.
That's it. You don't have two or three more? Moving on to legislative matters, Chairman Quagliani.
To the Honorable City Council of the City of West Haven, your Committee on Legislative Matters, to whom was referred the matter of a consideration and action regarding Communication A from tonight's agenda. Reports that the committee met on the 8th day of June 2026 to consider said matter. It is the unanimous opinion of the committee that the following motion be approved. To request the chair to set a public hearing for June 22nd, 2026 at 6:59 p.m. and that the proposed ordinance have its first reading as follows. First read, an ordinance amending the Code of the City of West Haven, Chapter 206, Street and Sidewalks. Be it ordained by the City Council of the City of West Haven, Chapter 206 of the Code of the City of West Haven is hereby amended to add Article 8 to read as follows. Article 8, Leaves and Yard Waste. 206-54 definitions. For the purposes of this article, the following words and expressions shall have the following meanings assigned to them. Leaves, foliage from trees. Public right-of-way, any area owned and or maintained by the City of West Haven or any other governmental entity open for use of the public for vehicular or pedestrian travel, including but not limited to roadways, sidewalks, streets, alleys, public grounds, or other rights of way. Roadway, that portion of any street improved, designed, or ordinarily used for vehicular traffic, exclusive of the berm or shoulder. Sidewalk, any portion of a street between the curb line and the adjacent property line intended for the use of pedestrians, excluding parkways. Street, the entire area encompassed by a roadway and a sidewalk. Water body, any man-made or natural accumulation of water, including but not limited to pools, ponds, lakes, oceans, and sounds. Water course, any natural or man-made channel through which water flows, including but not limited to rivers, streams, brooks, canals, stormwater systems, and sewer systems. Waterway, any man-made or natural navigable body of water. Yard waste, grass clippings, hedge trimmings, garden waste, branches, and wood chips. 206-55. Street sidewalks, private right-of-ways, water bodies, water courses, and waterways to be clear of leaves and yard waste. No person or property owner or agent thereof shall rake, place, or blow, or cause to be raked, placed, or blown any leaves or yard waste from any private land or property into any street, sidewalk, roadway, public right-of-way, water body, water course, or waterway within the City of West Haven. 206-56 penalties for offenses. The provisions of this article shall be enforced by citation and subsequent process pursuant to Chapter 128 of the Code of the City of West Haven Enforcement of Ordinances. Any person violating any of the provisions of this article shall be fined not more than $100 for the first offense, $200 for the second offense, and $250 for subsequent offenses. Fines will be enforced by the Department of Public Works. C. In addition to all the remedies available to the city pursuant to Chapter 128 of the Code of the City of West Haven Enforcement of Ordinances, if the violation has not been corrected within 48 hours specified in the Department of Public Works, shall cause the leaves and or yard waste to be removed. The cost of removal shall be charged to the property owner from which the leaves and the yard waste originated. In the event of non-payment, City of West Haven may bring a civil action for money damages against the property owner in any court or competent jurisdiction, and I so move.
I'm going to sleep much better tonight knowing what a leaf is. Thank you for that definition.
Thank you. I could repeat it if you need it.
Just in case. Just email it to me. Oh. All right, we're going to set a public hearing for June 22nd at 6:59 p.m. Mayor, would you like to just give some brief background on this?
Yeah, sure. So this is very similar to the snow ordinance, which will be coming soon as well. But we just don't want you to put your leaves in the road. It used to be years ago that you brought your leaves to the road, and there was a big vacuum truck that came along, and I don't know how that worked. I don't know how that happened. We can't afford one right now. So rake your leaves. Don't put them in the storm water. We just talked about the importance of cleaning up our storm waters. And also, we know that when they go into the road and they start to get wet come fall time, they're very dangerous. So this request came from complaints we get about each other's neighbors, complaints from Public Works about the storm drain, and complaints from PD about slippery roads. Thank you.
Thank you. Again, I'm saying a public hearing for June 22nd at 6:59.
To the Honorable City Council of the City of West Haven, your Committee on Legislative Matters has referred the matter of consideration and action regarding Communication B from tonight's agenda. Reports of the committee met on the 8th day of June 2026 to consider said matter. It is the unanimous opinion of the committee that the following motion be presented. Resolved, the City Council of the City of West Haven hereby approves the following. Moratorium on the development of data centers. Whereas the City of West Haven is committed to protecting the public health, safety, and welfare of all residents, businesses, and visitors. And whereas the city has determined that a sufficient time is required to research and evaluate the potential land use, environmental, infrastructure, and public safety impacts associated with the development of data centers within the city limits. And whereas, pursuant to the general police powers granted to the city under Chapter 2 of the West Haven Charter, including the authority to regulate businesses and protect the public health, safety, and welfare, the City Council is empowered to adopt measures necessary to address emerging regulatory concerns. And whereas the West Haven Code of Ordinances authorizes the city to regulate and license businesses operating within its jurisdiction, including establishing requirements, conditions, and procedures for such licensing. And whereas Connecticut General Statutes Section 7-148 and 8-2 expressly acknowledges the authority of municipalities to regulate land use and development in businesses such as data centers. And whereas the implementation of a temporary moratorium on the development of data centers will allow the city sufficient time to evaluate, revise, and strengthen its ordinances, zoning provisions, licensing requirements, and enforcement mechanisms. And whereas the mayor affirms the city's ongoing commitment to maintaining a safe, healthy, and secure environment for all who live, work, and visit the city of West Haven, and hereby requests council approval for such action. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the City Council of the City of West Haven that 1. A moratorium of 12 months is hereby enacted on the establishment and development of data centers within the City of West Haven. 2. This moratorium shall take effect immediately upon adoption of this resolution. 3. During the time period of this moratorium, departments within the City of West Haven, as directed by the mayor, shall ensure that any future development of data centers are consistent with the City of West Haven's plan of conservation and development, current zoning regulations, natural resource protection goals, and limited infrastructure capacity, and take all steps necessary to prevent the establishment of uses that may be incompatible with existing development patterns, including low-density residential areas, agricultural uses, and environmentally sensitive lands. 4. For the purposes of this moratorium, the term data center shall mean a facility, structure, or campus of structures primarily used for the storage, processing, and distribution of digital data and information, including cloud-based services and network operations. Data centers typically include A. high-density servers and data storage equipment, B. telecommunications and networking infrastructure, C. mechanical systems for cooling, including HVAC or liquid cooling systems, D. on-site electrical substations, backup generators, and or battery storage systems, E. security, monitoring, and operational support infrastructure. This definition includes hyperscale, co-location, and enterprise data centers, but does not include small-scale server rooms or equipment that are clearly incidental and an accessory to a permitted principal use. 5. Effective upon adoption of this moratorium, the Planning and Zoning Commission and any other municipal land use authority shall not accept, process, hear, or approve any application for the establishment, construction, installation, and expansion of a data center. 6. This prohibition shall apply to all forms of land use approval, including but not limited to zoning permits, special permits, or special exceptions, site plan approvals, subdivision or re-subdivision approvals, zoning amendments, or map changes intended to facilitate such uses. And I so move.
Thank you. I have a motion from Councilman Quagliani regarding a one-year moratorium on the development of data centers. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Councilman Heffernan. Mayor, could you give us some brief background of how this came about?
Sure. So we currently don't have any regulations around data centers. And when I went to the United States Conference of Mayors in D.C., there was a lot of discussion around data centers and communities that have put them in. And, you know, sitting there listening to them, I don't know that they were very, there's a lot of challenges with data centers that can impact electrical rates and the environment and, you know, the health of the community. And I started going down the rabbit hole, right, researching what other communities are doing and where they're building them. And I just thought, you know, I saw some cities were putting a moratorium on. I said, I think we better put a hold on data centers until we have more information. Because if somebody does come, let's say there's somebody who privately owns land and wants to sell it to a data center, you know, it's hard to control private sale to private, you know, buyer. And we don't want to get caught in a situation where we deny it because we don't think it is good for the community, but we have no regulations in place, you know, as the basis for that denial and end up in a lawsuit. So I think it's best to just put everything on hold while we learn more, and we make sure there's no dangers, you know, financially, environmentally, through health to our community. Just kind of put them on hold.
Thank you.
And then we'll ask P&Z to really do thorough research.
Great. Thank you. Appreciate the background. Any further discussion? Seeing none. All in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. All set.
Thank you. Moving on to Personnel and Civil Service, Chairman Ronan.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. To the Honorable City Council in the City of West Haven, your Committee on Personnel and Civil Service, to whom was referred the matter of consideration and action regarding Communication C from tonight's agenda, reports that the committee met on the 8th day of June 2026 to consider said matter. It is a unanimous opinion of the committee that the following motion be presented. Resolved, the City Council of the City of West Haven hereby approves the reappointment of Christian Sanchez, 541 Island Lane, West Haven, Connecticut, to the Fair Rent Commission. Mr. Sanchez's reappointment will be effective immediately and expire on June 30th, 2028, and I so move.
Thank you. I have a motion to approve the reappointment of Christian Sanchez to the Fair Rent Commission. Do I have a second? Second from Councilwoman Tagliatella. For discussion, I am the liaison to the Fair Rent Commission, and I've been able to witness Mr. Sanchez both administratively, act administratively, both act as a hearing officer for the complaints, and I was able to witness him because he serves as vice chair to lead a couple of meetings during Chairman Mullins' absence. Very smart, very talented, very thoughtful person, great fit for the commission. So I'm very glad that he's agreeing to stick around, and I'm very grateful for the mayor to recognize his talents and to keep him on. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. You're good.
That concludes the business of personnel.
You can say I'm all done. Last but not least, Public Lands, Councilman Donovan.
Thank you, Chairman. To the Honorable City Council of the City of West Haven, your Committee on Public Lands, to whom was referred the matter of consideration and action regarding Communication N from the May 26, 2026 agenda. Reports that the committee met on the 8th day of June 2026 to consider said matter. It is the unanimous opinion of the committee that the following motion be presented. Resolved, the City Council of the City of West Haven hereby approves the following. Whereas the City of West Haven is the owner of real estate known as 281 Front Avenue Rear, and whereas Leo Scilia has requested that the City of West Haven transfer title to a portion of that property which abuts his property located at 295 Front Avenue to cure a building encroachment affecting clear title to 295 Front Avenue, and whereas the City Council, along with the Mayor's Office, City Planner, Public Works Commissioner, Corporation Council, have thoroughly reviewed this request and have collectively found that the transfer of title will have no adverse impact upon the interests of the city, and whereas the City Council of the City of West Haven held a public hearing on June 8th, 2026 to review and discuss this transfer of title. Now be it resolved that the City Council of the City of West Haven, after review and due consideration, hereby approves the transfer of that title to Leo Scilia of that portion of that city-owned property consisting of approximately 1,225 square feet located in the northwest corner of 281 Front Avenue rear, which portion of the property abuts the northeast corner of 295 Front Avenue as shown on the map, attached map marked Exhibit A, incorporated by reference and made a part hereof, and be it further resolved that all costs associated with the transfer of title, including but not limited to necessary surveys, recording costs, closing fees, and grantee's attorney fees be borne by the grantee, and be it further resolved, Dorinda Bora, as mayor of the city of West Haven, is authorized and directed to execute and deliver any and all documents related to this resolution on behalf of the city of West Haven, and to do and perform all acts and things which she deems to be necessary or appropriate to carry out the terms of such documents in substantial compliance, including but not limited to executing and delivering all agreements and documents contemplated by such documents, and I so move.
I have a motion from Councilman Donovan regarding approval of a transfer of a portion of 281 Front Avenue rear to Mr. Leo Skilla. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Councilman McMillan. Any discussion? See none. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries.
A committee on public lands is closed.
Thank you. Okay, time is 8:33. Council as a whole is reconvening. Are there any council liaison reports?
Mr. Chairman.
Sir.
Just a few reminders. The Eco Park will be, they can do something on Thursday night, 7 o'clock, do Park and Rec. And also, there is a free registration for life jackets and the free boating course through Park and Rec also. It's online now. While supplies last for your infant life.
Excellent. Thank you. Any other council liaison reports? Councilman Callahan.
Just that I had to coach skating this weekend, but my husband went down to the concert series, and I heard it was a great turnout. Thank you, Mayor, again, and the Break Wall for sponsoring it. I'm hopefully looking forward to getting there one Sunday, but I think it's a wonderful thing that I've heard so many great comments about it. So it's just more of a, I think it's a nice thing to do for the public to get together on Sunday mornings. And that's it.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Any other council liaison? Okay, Councilman Donovan.
I don't have a Councilman Beaton. Is it a 7 o'clock start or 6 o'clock? The eco. It is.
Can we have mics on, please?
Okay, just making sure.
So, was that settled? Is it 6 or 7? 6.
6 to 7.
6 to 7. Look, I will grind the gears of government to a halt for that.
I actually just wanted to talk about that real quickly. 7 years ago when I started, this is one of the projects because of the storm we had, and this is one of the reasons why I got involved. A lot of people down there said, I should get involved. I am glad to see that this came to fruition through the past administration, through the current mayor, and actually the past state representative and now mayor, Dorinda Bora, the land trust, Mark Payne, so many people that were involved to get this thing up and running, and I'm glad to see that it is starting to come together, and I'm very proud to walk by there and see what's going on there now. So I thank everybody that was involved.
Thank you. Councilman Garthwaite?
Councilman, just to add to Councilman Donovan's comments, I want to also thank you to Marilyn Wilkes, who headed up that. She was one of the chairs along with Mark Payne. So just wanted to add that.
Thank you. Any other liaison reports? Moving on to new business. Any new business? Councilman Tucker?
I just want to make an announcement that on June 27th, we will be having our Juneteenth event at Kerrigan Middle School in the field. So I just want to invite everyone from the public to come out and join us. It should be a whole lot of fun.
Time?
11 to, I think, 3. 11 to 3.
Thank you. Yeah. Any other new business? Yep.
I was asked to bring this to the council's attention. I'm sure a lot of us saw on Facebook a post about someone who was panhandling in front of the Walgreens. We all know that this is something that happens not only at businesses in the city, but on our roadside. It happens in front of Dunkin' Donuts. I have spoken a few times once to Deputy Chief Romano about the panhandling that happens off of I-95 with the dogs. It drives me absolutely insane. When I first moved here, I had actually met Phil Lizio because he helped me with a dog that a panhandler was using to make money off of, and the dog had his paws melted off from the hot asphalt. So this is something that really bothers me with the dogs. It bothers me with the individuals too. And actually the individual that was on Facebook in that post, I actually helped her. I gave her food, and I also gave her resources. And I'm sad to see that she's still there with a different individual over a year later. So this is something that's a little bit on my heart. I don't like seeing individuals in need. I don't want to see us condemn them. I want to help them, but I also don't want to have this continuously happen in our city because our residents are being, frankly, harassed for money or, in my case, it's smart to say, I'll get you some food. I'm not going to give you any money. I'll get you some food. But I hope that perhaps maybe the council might think about some ways, or Mayor Boer, you might think about some ways that we could curtail this activity because it really has gotten it out of hand lately. So that's what I'm bringing. Yeah. Thank you, Mayor.
Did you want anybody else?
Does anybody have anything before I kick it over to the mayor?
All
yours.
Yes, so thanks, Melly, for somebody did bring that to my attention, and I did meet with the chief and deputy chief because it's challenging at those businesses because it's privately and it's hard for us to. So what we did is I asked the chief and the deputy chief. They have a form that they've brought to the managers of these establishments to sign to allow our officers. Officer Battelle is assigned downtown, and he knows a lot of the individuals. And but by signing this form, it allows him or any officer down there to really address and have folks, move away from the door. Because yes, we know that folks need assistance, but you can't be asked every time you go. But I also asked them to, it's not just Walgreens while you're there, because if somebody moves from Walgreens, they might go to CVS or they might go to Krausers. So start hitting all of those businesses in the area that there may be challenges with, and see that we can police it better on private land. And then so the dogs, that drives me crazy too. In particular during these blizzards, I was just it killed me to see those that had a dog who refused to go to the warming center. We have the warming center, so just talking about winter for a second. If somebody goes to our warming center, we bring the animal to our shelter. We have a very good shelter. But sometimes the individuals on the street do not want to give up their dog. And then the police officer, there's one particular situation at Dunkin' Donuts near Elm and Campbell, and I kept going there, and I talked to the couple myself, and, we'll take good care of the dog. But if they own the dog and they don't give the dog up, and the dog looks healthy, then the police, it's very hard to take an animal away. So it's very bothersome to me too. Sometimes on the highway when I see that, it just, especially when it's hot, it's heartbreaking, it's infuriating at the same time. So, and I know how passionate you are. So believe me, if there's something we could do when it comes to those animals, we will. It's hard. I have other new
Do you have other
business stuff. Yeah, sure.
Floor is yours.
Okay. But thank you, Melly, for bringing that to my attention. Somebody did screenshot it and send it to me, and I was like, okay. And also I want to let everybody know that, you know, Alyssa, and this Alyssa falls under John, and he's sitting there shaking his head because he knows that we have a social worker that goes out to the green and goes out to a lot of these locations, provides a flyer, talks about the resources that are available, and, you know, tries to provide assistance. And, you know, we do the best we can to try to provide the assistance that folks need in our community. Sometimes folks are not, do not have the capability to accept the, you know, the assistance, but we make sure they know about the assistance. And PD and our health department are familiar with a lot of individuals. Specifically on that? Yeah, okay, then you want to do that, and then I'll move on.
Is there a workaround with the folks that have the dog to see if they're licensed?
That's a good question. To see if they have a license. I don't know if we could take them away, but I'll ask PD, you know, if they have a license. Yeah. Speaking of license, it is Dog Licensing Month. Thank you everybody for sending your pictures. And but yeah. Okay. So moving on from that. What do I want to talk about? Oh, wrong list. So first of all, thank you for doing the signs and working on the trails. I know how passionate you are, Kathy, about you know, the Watershed Project and the ability to connect all of these trails. This past Sunday was National Trails Day, and Connecticut is #1 in our trails. I did call the water company because I wanted to see if we could do guided trails at Maltby Lakes, and they said they didn't have the resources, so maybe next year this can be our trail so that we can participate. Okay. Perfect. Perfect. We got a whole year to plan. All right. Okay. Eco Park, yes, thank you. I think we said it all, but yes, it is at 6. We're going to have music. We're going to have refreshments. There is a rain date on the website just in case. Let's not think about that, but, you know, I just got to say it because it always happens. But as Gary mentioned, it was Storm Isaiah knocked the trees over from Eco Park, which is the land in between the boardwalk and the beach. And then Public Works, unbeknownst to them, started pulling all those trees out because they had to get them off the boardwalk, and they were invasive. Deep came around and said, stop. This is not, they're not native. You can't do this. So then the land trust, yes, when I was a state representative, came to me. We got the land trust $250,000 to help with that. And then we also got an additional couple of $100,000 from the governor to upgrade the boardwalk and that. So I'm really excited. This announcement is not, oh, come and look, and it's all grown in. This announcement is the work is done, and we'll get to watch the growth together over the next couple of years. So I hope you all join us Thursday night. And I do want to mention Marginal Drive again, because I'm very glad that you said that the dumping has reduced drastically due to the lot cops, because I say that, and there's 1 or 2 folks who say that it's not. It has drastically reduced, you know, according to Public Works and PD, because of those cameras. And when we see, you know, Ricky Fontana's on those cameras all day long. When he sees dumping on any of those cameras throughout the city, he puts Officer Patel on it. And we have been finding people. People say to me, are we finding them? Oh, yes, we're finding them. We're finding them $800, and we're making them clean it up. And funny story, Marginal Drive this past weekend, there was tires and boxes and all these kind of things, and we thought it was dumping. So we were on a mission to figure out who dumped it, and come to find out it was the volunteers who pulled it out of Marginal Drive and put it on the road. So Ricky came to my office. He goes, well, we found the source of that dumping. Yeah. And they put it on West Haven side, which is fine, as long as somebody's picking it up. So, yeah, lot cops. Acoustic Sunday, yes, Dawn. There was over 200 people at Acoustic Sunday. It was wonderful, sweeter than wine. It was a kickoff to our program. So I'm really glad that folks are taking advantage of it. Yeah, it was great. Beautiful, beautiful weather. 250th year anniversary. We haven't talked about that, what West Haven's doing. In addition to the Historic Society, right, Representative Heffernan? A couple of things we're doing, but 2 I wanna call out is that around Connecticut on July 4th at 2 p.m., well, at 1:45, we'll be reading the Declaration of Independence on the steps of City Hall. So cities are doing this across Connecticut, and they're actually doing it across the nation. So we will be joining in. And then at 2 o'clock, church bells will ring, 13 bells will ring, signifying 13 colonies. So First Congregational Church on the Green will definitely be ringing their 13 bells because we're going to be reading from the steps of City Hall, and we're sending a communication out to all churches across the city. But then we're also going to ask the public to come, for the reading and the ringing of the bells, but to bring their bells as well. So when the 13 bells are done, we're going to do a Let Freedom Ring and have the public that's in attendance with a bell to ring the bell for a minute. So we're working on that, and you'll see a flyer on that. Sorry about that. My son's calling me, probably. There you go. Maybe we could get our cannon back from the New Haven Historic Society. But I digress. And then we're also doing the time capsule. So I believe the council before us started putting together a time capsule. We were going to ask, so we're going to do the time capsule the first week of August on the green. You didn't do a time capsule? You started it but didn't finish it. So we're going to finish it because it's 2:50. So what we're going to do is ask folks, and you'll see the flyer, so don't start sending me recommendations yet, of what we want to see in that time capsule. Time capsule is about the size of a bread box, an old bread box, so it can't be too large. We're going to give dimensions. We're going to put it out there to the public, and then you guys, say what you think we should put in it. And then I'm forming a small little committee to look at what those ideas are. And then we'll come up with a list, and then we'll bury it on the green. Okay, all right. Okay, so 250th, and then of course the Historic Society is doing a series of talks because they are our historical society, and they have our school garden. I just want to address that. So we have an account that when we get blight fines and we get lead fines, that we put funding into this account. So I think as long as it's not more than a couple $1,000s, I don't think the Board of Education has the funding. I don't want to go down that road. But I think we could use the blight and the lien account to replace those plants. We could use plants and shrubs because the council didn't cut that. Okay. Don't cut the trees and shrubs. Coast Guard Shack came down this week. Woohoo! If you didn't see that, you could kick that thing over, but remember it took us 2 years because of environmental. Fireworks. So we only have one more meeting before the fireworks. We've already had a risk reduction meeting with all hands on deck. Thank you, Gary. You are the liaison to that, but every department's there already planning to make sure it's a safe, fun evening. But I do want to mention a sponsorship opportunity. So the committee has been fundraising, and they're doing a great job. Ricky Spryer and I have also secured some sponsorships, but we're doing signs. If you donate $100 or more, it's a lawn sign, and we're going to put those lawn signs between Charlotte's Playground and the Rock so that it lines Captain Thomas right there, and we're going to do that for about 10 days leading up to the 4th of July. So I want to make sure it's out there so nobody said, how did we not know about the sponsorships? Everybody knows about the sponsorships now. We're gonna put it on social media as well. We're going to do a picture of the sign, and thank you to Cindy Carr for working on that with us. And then, any other questions for me before I do my last thing?
Oh. Where will we be since the
Oh, yes. So the parking for the Kelsey,
yeah.
mean? So we're working with them. We're going to move the fence closer to the building. So the fence still needs to be around it because it's active construction, but we're going to move it probably halfway into the parking lot because that's our handicap parking and our sponsors parking. So we're working on that. And we're also clearing the rock this week, probably, and the reason we clear that rock is it's not just aesthetics, but it protects people from climbing that rock. And so it allows PD to see what's going on the rock, not just on fireworks night. Yeah, sure.
Mayor, are we going to ever open Water Street? I got a couple of requests for that.
No. Well, we can't open it because talk about dumping. Can you imagine? Now we got to police that road, and the road is compromised because of all the construction that was down there. So that road would need to be fixed. That's a long road. Utilities, right? We would have to upgrade the utilities for the lighting, and we would have to police it, and it's just not something we can do. We can do right now, unfortunately. I understand. Speaking of traffic, I'm gonna need the help of the public maybe on this one. So the Kimberly Avenue Bridge is being replaced, not for maybe 2 years, and West Haven and New Haven are on meetings with DOT. I sit in on these meetings to talk about what it's going to look like. And it's going to be 4 lanes, and we're going to have bike paths, and we're going to connect, all the way down into West Haven, which will go all the way to the other paths. And the other day I was on a meeting, and they came up with a new design that had 3 lanes. So I said, how's that 3 lanes going to work? So it was 2 lanes coming into West Haven and 1 lane going out of West Haven. And I said, there's absolutely no way that. So I suggested they come during rush hour and look at that. So there will be they're going to take it back to the drawing board. This is a $78 million project, I believe, right? So it's not happening overnight. But if they took my input, hopefully they're going to change it. If not, they're having a public hearing. And if at that time they have a public hearing and it doesn't change, I will make sure everybody knows about it, because they said at the last public hearing, the folks that came forward mostly were concerned with biking over the bridge and wanted the bike path to be larger, and that's why they were going to make it down to 3 lanes. And I know, we want the biking path to, but we can't have that. So that's that. Okay. Welcome my world every day. Okay, so I want to read you this letter, just because I just want to hammer home the work that our public safety does. And if you recall, there was 2. One was a UNH student, one was a former student that capsized off of the boat ramp. They were in a small boat, and they were rescued. Thankfully, I'm not going to use their names, but this is a letter that came from their parents, and I almost cried when I read it. On Thursday, May 7, 2026, my son, X, and his roommate, X, were the 2 men whose boat capsized just outside the Long Island Sound. The large wave of another boat wake caused their boat to violently tip as they were on their way back to the boat launch at 7:41 p.m. They were stranded for approximately 2.5 hours in the water. Fortunately, his girlfriend called 911, and your staff, along with the West Haven police and fire departments, were dispatched. From what I was told, only 60 to 90 minutes elapsed between the time 911 was called and the time they were rescued, and it had already grown dark, and they had already gone 2,000 feet from shore. The tide had taken them out and was washing them out. Your team of first responders were able to ping the boys' phone to get their last known location and launched a drone with thermal imaging. The boys were found just after 10 p.m. My wife and I arrived at the scene as the rescue boat was making its way back to the launch. All of the first responders there were comforting to us, giving us as much information as possible. You personally, to emergency services, were tremendous assistance. Rick Fontana was in comforting my wife as we traveled to New Haven, not knowing the whereabouts of our son. And for that, I'm going to cry. I cannot be more grateful. We truly feel this rescue was a miracle. And public safety said that it was a miracle rescuing these 2 boys. It was estimated that if my son had been out there another 15 minutes, the outcome could have been fatal, and he would not be with us today. We do not know all the names of the responders present, but me and my wife, as well as the other family, are eternally grateful to your staff and those of the other departments of whom I also am writing to. Please extend our utmost gratitude to your staff members, as they all should be commended for the excellent work they did in saving our boys' lives. And I will leave you with that.
And on that note, I will entertain a motion to adjourn. I'll see everybody tomorrow night.